Gavin, your first game as the head coach of
Yep.
this team, what did you learn about this club today that you didn't know before?
What did I learn about the club? I suppose every game presents a new learning opportunity. I didn't learn anything about the club as such. It was about just individuals and moments within the game. I think the club's a phenomenal club. I think it still is a phenomenal club. I don't think that will change. I think the passion of the fans is incredible, and there's no way that we should be walking out of here having given up 5 goals at home. It's just not right. We've scored 3 goals and 3 decent goals, and I think we've had some key players not play as well as they could. Individual errors, we got stretched. The lines between the back line and the midfield allowed Donovan and King to drop off and pick up the ball and cause us tremendous problems. It's something that we covered, but again, I'll take the blame for this one. There's been a lot happening within the last week. I think at times we kept the ball well. I think we moved the ball well. I think we had individuals that had amazing games, but key lapses cost us a game.
What happened in that 11-minute period when we scored 4 goals?
I would say we didn't pick our heads up quick enough. I think the first goal, we started to get back into it, and then the situation is, even the first goal, we should have been able to apply pressure. Here's one of the best strikers of the ball in the world, and we're not applying pressure. We outnumbered them in the middle of the park to try and keep pressure on him and deny service into the front too. And I think it was a lapse of concentration maybe, and we got punished. So then from there, we regrouped. I thought we did okay in the next passage of play, and the situations that occurred after that were a bit blurry, to be fair, but possibly one of the goals that they scored, there was a foul on one of our players that was brought down, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way. It's not an excuse, it's just the nature of the game.
Gavin, it was the little things in the first half, a bad wall on the second goal, losing an individual battle on the left side on the third goal.
Yep.
Do you think the big picture issues led to a lack of focus on the little things?
I think defensively we've got some very, very good players, and without pointing the finger, it's me. I was a defender when I played, and organisationally we should have been a little bit better. But we've been trying to get through a lot this week. I think we got stretched at the wrong times within the game. But I also think they had some players tonight that were on form. I think Keane and Donovan had fantastic games. Their movement off one another was tremendous, and they took their chances. They could have had another couple, so could have we. But I think that when you have a couple of players in key positions have poor performances, and the players that they're playing against have great performances, it makes the gap a little bit bigger, and we will punish because of it.
Hey, Gavin, you scored 3 goals tonight. Besides the result of the game, it looked like the offense was up, and it looked like over 60% possession. Have you been doing anything different in training that's been generating some better results for you?
We're a professional club. Winning is all that matters in many, many ways. I think Darlington played well tonight. I think Eric Alexander did well. I think we kept the ball moving. I think we could have been a little bit more urgent in the last 10 minutes, but we've tried to focus on keeping the ball a little bit more. But what I would say is there's no point keeping the ball if you're going to concede 5 goals. When they do get the ball and they're able to open you up that quickly, I think we've got to work on keeping our shape a little bit more, even in possession. And our transition, as soon as we lose the ball, has to be a lot better and a lot more effective. But we're trying to increase the tempo of the game. We're trying to move the ball a little bit quicker. We're trying to get everyone involved, and we're asking players to take responsibility in possession. But some of the football tonight that we played, going forward, I thought was productive. The defending, on the other hand, was awful.
For you, first game, how did you feel standing on the sidelines after?
It's a strange feeling. I won't lie. And this whole week has been a whirlwind. Accomplishing 2 jobs, and it's all worthwhile when you see the club and you see the fans. It wasn't a great result today. There's some positives to take out of today. I know that's hard to believe, but for me it was very, very different standing on the sideline. Now it's a matter of getting the players to regroup, getting them to focus on Chivas, and seeing if our road performances can improve.
Gavin, it was 4-1 before you hit the half-hour mark. Are you trying to calm yourself down, trying to calm some of the players down? What's going through your head at that moment?
At that moment, honestly, it was a little bit of disbelief. We put them in a position. LA is not a team that you want to be chasing. They open the game up very, very quickly. Their transition is effective going forward. And to go in 4-1 down when you know the reasons, but you can't solve them at that stage, is disappointing. And also, it was a shock. I think it showed tremendous character from the group to come back out, to regroup, and go again. I think if we had track runners a little bit better, we had taken care of their front two, it would have been a different night.
The fact that the team has, had been through so much this week,
Yeah.
How do you factor that in when you're sort of analyzing what happened?
We can do it internally, but again, all that matters is the 90 minutes that we put in on the field, and for some players it was a good night, others poor. So I think we have to go back, we have to look at our man management, we have to try and get the most out of the individuals that we've got, get them to believe in themselves, because players that played well last week or the week prior maybe disappeared a little bit tonight. And as a coaching staff, we've got to look at that, we've got to look at why, and maybe it hit them a little bit harder than usual this week. And I think it's important we regroup and go again.
Gavin, the 4-2-3-1, was that more about the challenges the Galaxy present you, or is that more about the personnel that you have right now with your team?
I think a little bit of the personnel, and also partnering that with the Galaxy. We tried to deny them space in the middle of the park, and it's the same thing that led to our demise in the first goal. We had Darlington being an outlet for us. Every time we had the ball, we were trying to find Darlington, we were trying to find Chris Boyd early, and looking to get our wide players involved, and at times it worked, and we were able to play through. But when you outnumber them in the middle of the park and somebody can pick the ball up 20, 25 yards out and have a clean strike, and especially with that person, you've got to ask yourself questions. Did I do a good enough job of explaining the roles to those players? And if not, we'll revisit it and we'll go again.
When you look at this club now, after this performance, do you still have confidence that you guys can regroup and make a positive stretch toward the playoffs this season?
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely. So I'm a bit shocked by the question, to be honest. You look at the positives and you look at the way that we kept the ball, you look at the ball speed, the ball movement, and you look at the chances that we created. It wasn't just that we had 3 goals and 3 chances. We had numerous other chances. They cleared one out of the 6-yard box. We missed a one-on-one with Darlington Nagby. We had numerous corners that, against the LA Galaxy off set pieces, I'd expect us to be a little bit more effective. So definitely, I think, with the group that we've got, it's now a little bit about digging a little bit deeper and seeing what we're made of.
What did you tell your team after the game?
After the game, I said they get a pass on this one because it's all me. So, with the coaching change and everything else, it's a chance for them to reflect, come back a little bit stronger. Those that had poor games, make sure they analyse, look at the reasons why. Can their preparation be a little bit better, and can they come back a little bit stronger? But this one's all on me.
Gavin,
especially with the coaching change. I think it's good for the players to, revisit things and look at the direction.
Last one, please.
Sorry about that, Coach. Gavin, home road was something that both you and Merritt addressed in the press conference announcing Coach Spencer's dismissal. And how much does it hurt that a performance like this comes at home when the team had been having so much success at home?
Yeah, any loss hurts. The fact that you lose in front of your home fans is very upsetting, to say the least. The positives, was it an entertaining game? Was it completely one-sided, or can people realise that our mistakes cost us? Was it a team performance that was poor? Was it a lack of work? I don't think so. I think there were individual mistakes that cost us the game, and that happens. That happens in any sport at all levels. So, I think, the result is disappointing. Was the performance completely disappointing, or just the defending side of it? And I think the defending side of it was poor, but the performance overall going forward wasn't all bad.
Thanks, everyone.
Locker room's open.